How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League live stream here on my channel. So yes, another deadline with Dayvy live stream. This deadline stream is especially special because of this whole triple game week 35 scenario that we currently have. So which United players should we be bringing in? Which United players should you guys be focusing on? I'm going to be kind of answering those questions throughout the live stream. I haven't made any free transfers as of yet. So throughout the stream, we definitely will be making a live transfer, kind of forced to, because I do currently have 2 free transfers. I don't actually want to burn a free transfer before a triple game week. But we kind of still are contemplating going with Fernandes or going without Fernandes, and I'm pretty sure the chat will have something to say about that. Going to be quite a lot of conflicting opinions for this triple game week 35. So nice to see all you guys here in chat. Thanks as always for joining these Friday night, evening, morning, wherever you guys are around the world. I saw someone said they're here from Saudi Arabia, so thanks for dropping by. But I always do appreciate you guys taking time out of your Friday evenings to come and join the live stream. As Kevin Mann saying, talking slower, I see. So I'm going to try to. I think throughout the live stream, I generally talk quite quickly. But hopefully you guys have noticed in the last couple of videos, I've talked a little bit slower. But maybe towards the end of the live stream, we will do one of those kind of quick fire rounds that I know you guys do enjoy. I saw Optimus Prime saying something like he's already taken a minus 16 and he doesn't have Bruno Fernandes as well, which is going to be quite crazy. Personally, he says he's going to captain Salah, which will be something that I'll talk about maybe a little bit later on when I address my own side. But now, as always, whenever I mention a country, everyone kind of says what countries they're from. So got some people from Greece here, got some people from Malaysia. So all around the world. I mean, from Malaysia, that must be pretty early in the morning if I have kind of got those time zones right. But as always, thanks for joining in the live streams. A couple of USA fans as well. Won't be talking about the NFL draft because I think that's a little bit of late news. But I really wanted to talk about it last week. But obviously with the whole kind of excitement about the double game week, triple game week schedule being announced, we didn't kind of get there. But in terms of the transfers, I mentioned I haven't made any free transfers. So I'm going to be kind of talking you through the options that I have. I don't really have a definite plan, to be honest. I have some that I kind of prefer, maybe some moves that are a little bit more preferable than others. But the whole thing that I'm kind of trying to balance is blank game week 36. And we can kind of maybe go on to one of the other screens. I might bring up that FPL.team. I don't know if you guys did check out the website that I did mention in the team selection, but you can basically plan your future game weeks, and I think that's really helpful. I wish that FPL introduced kind of a future planner here, as that would be really helpful for our own FPL teams. But I'm going to kind of show you that whatever moves I kind of made in game week 36, I had about 8 players and about 7 players in the one kind of transfer schedule that I managed to plan. But I really am kind of short-sighted on just focusing on this triple and then not focusing on the blank. I don't know if you guys do agree, but I kind of am viewing this whole Manchester United triple game week as kind of a double game week. I know that could maybe be a little bit naive, and maybe a player like a Bruno Fernandes definitely starts all 3 games, or a player like a Maguire starts all 3. But when I focus it on a double game week, I'm basically saying that Aston Villa will be a fixture. I think against Aston Villa, United will go pretty strong. But then against Leicester or Liverpool, I think they'll go quite weak. And if you have to think of it as kind of Aston Villa and Leicester, or Aston Villa and Liverpool, that double game week doesn't look too appealing to me currently. And that's just kind of the thinking I'm going through. Obviously, there's a big flaw in that kind of logic, and that's if a player does start all 3 games and they manage to bang in all 3, and then we're going to be looking at quite a big red arrow if we don't manage to choose the right United option. But I'm pretty sure most of you will probably be going for like a Bruno Fernandes captain, and that's perfectly fine. That's probably what I would suggest as well. Definitely the safest option to go for in the top 10k, top 100k. I reckon he's going to be about that 180% effective ownership, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Just quickly, Yash with the donation here saying Pickford, Forster. I'm not going to name all your players because I think everyone's going to get a little bit bored about that, but I'll just run through your team in my head. 2 free transfers, no chips. So you currently have Bruno, so that's your situation currently sorted out. You don't have to really focus on anyone else. In terms of your front line, I mean, I wouldn't take out any of those 3 front players because they all have either a double game week or the other one's Kane, and I think that he should do quite well. You also have Wan-Bissaka here, so you could maybe bring in another United option, but what I would do, Yash, is I would definitely look at your game week 36 squad and see what happens there, because currently off the bat here, I know that you have some players that are going to be blanking, mainly the United assets, and then someone like a Holding and a Rudiger. But so maybe what I would do is I would take out Rudiger and I would look at someone like a Lindelof. And I think that I would be pretty comfortable with just doing that. I think that you should be fine with just doing that one transfer and then maybe just bank the other one and use it in the blank game week. But thanks for the donation. I'm also seeing a lot of people here saying they're going to be captaining Greenwood. That's going to be quite a hectic thing to do. Blues FPL saying, I kept Rudiger over Holding even with a possible Tuchel rotation. Good luck this week. Thanks a lot, Blues. I appreciate you joining in. My current thinking of Rudiger is that because I have Mendy, I might as well just go for the double up. And I don't think that Holding is going to start. I'm a little bit sorry to those guys who think that he's going to start, but I think that although he started last night in the Europa League, I just think that Arsenal side's going to rotate. I think David Luiz should be back. I don't really know what the current scenario is because Arteta said that he was training, but then he wasn't even on the bench, I don't think, last night. But if David Luiz is back, then I think that Holding will be benched. And that's why he currently is on my bench. G Squad from YouTube saying Captain 1, Zaha, Greenwood, Rashford, Iheanacho or Salah. In terms of the United option, what I would currently do is I'd probably go for Rashford. But if you don't want to captain a United option, I mean, Zaha could be completely outrageous from a differential point of view. But I think that one of Salah, Iheanacho is also quite good. So it's a little bit of a tough captaincy week this week. But I think you probably just go safe and go for Rashford. What's the best Everton player, says Ahmed? I would 100% say Calvert-Lewin. That's who I would be definitely looking at. And then if you want to go for a defender, Lucas Digne is also quite good. Lawazi Zaba saying 6.5 midfielder. So I don't really know around that 6.5 bracket, but I think that maybe someone like a Lingard could be quite attractive. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be too many options that I can think of off my head. I mean, I think you also have a player like a Mason Mount. Ward-Prowse would be quite a good option in my opinion to go for because of the double game week, and then Southampton's fixtures look quite good. So that's someone that I would look at. Also, I think that he's going to be on penalties because currently Danny Ings is out, so that would be someone that I would definitely look at. Otherwise, you could maybe take a punt on going for like a Saka or someone like that. But I mean, an Eze is also someone that you could maybe take a punt on. So if you want to take more of a punt, then go for Eze. But if you want to go for more of a set player that you definitely know is going to start, I think that Ward-Prowse is probably where you got to look. Can you do a quick wildcard team? Mine doesn't look good at all. So, sure, okay, so I can do a quick wildcard team, but maybe what I would kind of run through is just the players that I would probably look at. You got to be able to be fine for the blank game week 36. So that's something that I would definitely consider. My front line would be Kane, DCL, Iheanacho. My midfielders would be Bruno Fernandes, Salah, Rashford, Jota, and then my backline would be Trent, Robertson, Maguire, and Lucas Digne, if you guys can think of that. I would go for a 4-4-2. That's actually maybe don't even... Yeah, I think that's probably not a 4-4-2 because you've got a pretty stacked front line, but something like that probably should be quite good. No worries, Loazi. Thanks for the question. Jose saying Timo, Dayvy. I don't think I'd be looking at Timo Werner. I think that maybe even if he started, I don't think I'd be looking at Timo Werner, just to like put it in that regard. And I don't even think that he's guaranteed to start. I mean, personally, I think that Havertz has been playing pretty well at that false 9, so that could be some rotation there. Optimus Prime saying, if you can make more than 500 likes, I'll captain Mendy. So I can't confirm or deny that news, but if we do get 500 likes, it might get pretty close to that. Best triple captain option this week, please answer. So I'll kind of answer this as I usually do with captaincy. If you want to go safe, there's only one option to go for, and that's going to be Bruno Fernandes. But then that's the safe option. The differential option, that's opening a whole other like kind of can of worms there, because there's so many good captaincy options this week in my opinion. I mean, Vardy could bang, Iheanacho could bang, Salah could bang. There's just so many options this week. I mean, you could even go differential from United and go for a Rashford or a Greenwood. But I think if you own Bruno, I don't know why you wouldn't captain him. That's basically, so I think if you own him, just captain him. What about Cavani? So Cavani's an interesting one. Personally, this is how I feel. The front line, in my opinion, there's a lot of stacked strikers that you want. I don't want to sell Vardy. I don't want to sell Kane. I don't want to sell Iheanacho. Whereas in that midfield slot, I got more slots available in that case. And that's why I think that people are more likely to take a Rashford or Greenwood, because there's more slots open. And that's why I think that I would rather maybe go for one of those players, because Cavani also, not trying to say he's old, but he might not be able to play that many minutes consecutively. Marshawn saying a Bruno blank would be awesome. I'm not going to comment on that at all, but I might agree, I might disagree. Are you going to make any changes, says Murat. So I will be making changes. Let me run through them quickly, and then you guys can tell me what you guys think. So there's a couple of options that I'm thinking about. So I'll kind of run through them, and then I'll just refresh the page as we go through them. The first, okay, let me just answer Dermot Brady's question here because he did donate. So how's it? Any early transfers for me before I go? So Dermot, perfect timing there, buddy. We're going to go through them right now. So the conservative option that I was thinking about, and the same thing that I had in the video, was now I've changed from taking out Vardy because I want to keep Vardy. I've chosen to take out Kane potentially in that move. So what I would do is I would take Kane out. I would then bring in Calvert-Lewin, who has a relatively fine double game week. It's nothing substantial or something to get excited about, but it is a double game week at the end of the day. And then I'll take out Son and I would bring in Bruno Fernandes. So I have about 2.3 to spend then. I was kind of considering going for another -4 hit and bringing in a defender, but I kind of am going against that because I think that I might just want to kind of save that hit for next week when I could maybe get some more time and choose the players that I want to. So this is the conservative option. Bringing in Bruno Fernandes, I would captain him definitely then. And I mean, Calvert-Lewin in also isn't too shabby. So these are the current moves that I'm considering. And this is the conservative approach, as I've said. But currently, I'm also thinking that after all this thinking about the double game week, blank game week 36, I really need to get some squad players in there. I mean, Kane plays in that blank game week against Wolves, and I mean, he should be a good option there for even captaincy. So the thing that I was maybe considering is just taking out Heung-min Son and then going for Rashford as well. So I know it might be a little bit of a sideways move here because I'm not going for Bruno, but I'm going for Rashford. And that might just be me trying to cover Bruno Fernandes, but you probably can say that because I am a little bit scared about Bruno and what he's going to do to me this week if he manages to do well. So the conservative approach is just using one, not the conservative, more the differential, is just kind of using one of my 2 free transfers and then going for Rashford, taking Son to Rashford, because then I still am going for United option, and I'm just kind of covering that base. Now that opens up who do I captain in this case, which is a little bit annoying because I don't really have a standard option, and that's why I might look at someone like a Mo Salah. But these are the 2 approaches I've gone for. I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't really thought about them too much, and I haven't really decided on them either. So I think it's going to come down to the wire a little bit, but what I would say is that I think that I would kind of go for, if you guys have to go, then maybe just go for the Rashford move, because I think that that gives you a little bit more flexibility next week. And I think we have to kind of look at these fixtures in the block. And just because United has a triple this week and they have a blank next week, that's only 3 fixtures in 2 game weeks. Whereas maybe another option also has the potential to do well over the next 2 game weeks. So this is my current thinking behind it. And that's why I was kind of contemplating what to do. But as I said, I am scared of Bruno. But then I also kind of think of it as, at this stage of the season, I'm not going to get top 10k if I don't take some punts. And I know that that might just kind of be me talking myself into the move, and then I have an excuse if everything goes pear-shaped, but that's currently the only reason that I'm kind of going for him. Glenn saying, only reason I went Bruno was because he's on penalties, and that is true. I mean, it's something that I did in game week 1. I didn't go with Mo Salah, and then he managed to get 2 penalties, and that basically secures you a massive haul. So it's a little bit annoying having to kind of rely on penalties, but I can perfectly understand why. But from my point of view, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a pen in every single game. Touch wood, I mean, there's probably going to be 2 pens in every single game now because I said that. Ezekiel saying, I'm first in my mini league and the second has Fernandes. I'll definitely get him the same team as you, help. So that's what I would do. I would just do that move of taking Kane out and Son out and then bring in Bruno Fernandes and Calvert-Lewin. I think that should be perfectly fine. Do I sell Leno for Guaita for a -4? So Leno's a little bit of an interesting one because apparently there's a rumor now that he could be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. I wouldn't feel confident on Leno starting both of those double game week games. So I would start whatever keeper or sell him for whatever keeper you think. Gary, Guaita's an interesting one because Crystal Palace, although they have these amazing fixtures, I don't really think they have the best defensive form, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But if I was free hitting or something like that, I think that I would probably go for Guaita as just a little bit of a punt there. Owen saying, I don't have Bruno. Can I get DCL and Siggy? So you're saying I don't have Bruno, so I don't know if you're asking like you want to get Bruno in, but you can get DCL and Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson's basically guaranteed to start because James is out injured, so they need kind of a midfield player. Adam saying, evening, enjoying stream, Dayvy. What do you think of Greenwood captain over Fernandes? Adam, it's like I would only go for that if you need to make up spaces in your mini league or you need to boost your overall rank hectically. The only reason why I wouldn't captain Bruno Fernandes and he was in my squad is that, because I just think that if you have Bruno, it's a no-brainer in my opinion that you should probably just go for him. I mean, just maybe hope that the differentials around your squad make up the points that you can get a green arrow in that case. Why not keep Kane and take out Vardy so you have Kane as captain next game week? So Jazz, the thing that I want Vardy this week. I think that he could do well this week, and that's why I want him. I don't think it's worth taking out a double game week player, a player that's basically essential to Leicester, that's going to be playing both games, for a player that might not perform as well. And I mean, I could just take a -4 hit next week and bring Kane in anyways for that. So that's my current thinking. I just kind of don't want to lose Vardy. Zaid saying, I couldn't afford Smith Rowe to Greenwood. What should I do? So what you could do is you could do Lingard to Greenwood. That could also be a move that you potentially do. Ideal defender for the blank game week already have Lucas Digne. Evan, I would probably suggest the Liverpool option. I mean, if you can afford a Trent, can afford a Robertson, I can't really recommend Kabak right now because there was a little bit of a rumor there that Kabak could be injured. I don't want to kind of say that as gospel because it might not be true, but that's the current rumor that there could be a potential injury for Kabak, and I mean, that's going to be quite bad. Daniel saying, hello, David. Why did you go Lowton instead of Holding? So thank you, Daniel, for asking this. I don't think maybe someone else has asked this. Apologies. But I was pretty sure that you guys would be a little bit more livid about this move. So I'm benching Holding because I just don't have faith in him starting. And the current worst scenario for me would be that he's benched against West Brom and then he plays against Chelsea, because I think Chelsea are going to do quite a good job against Arsenal. So I rather would just kind of go for Lowton. I mean, it is Burnley. Usually they perform quite well defensively. I know this season might not be the case. It is against Fulham. Fulham have been struggling a little bit recently, so that's why I think Lowton, I would rather just go with the security of a potential clean sheet than going for Holding, and then he comes off the bench or maybe plays one of the games and loses it. So I just don't have faith in Holding to start both. That's my current thinking. No worries, Evan. Thanks for the question. Chances of Rudiger starting both games, I'd probably say maybe like 60-70%. I'm not confident in it, but I do think that that Man City game could be quite close. And that's why I'm like a little bit confident playing the Chelsea defense. I just kind of hope that both of them start. We have $5 super chat here. Who would you recommend for replacements for Neto under 5.8? So it's pretty good that you're replacing Neto at this moment because that is a long-term injury. Ward-Prowse, El Ghazi, or Eze. So Eze, I would kind of go for Eze if you want to take a massive punt, if you need to catch up in your mini leagues and that sort of thing. But I think that Ward-Prowse should be kind of a little bit of a secure option. And the nice thing about Ward-Prowse is that he does have great fixtures after this game week as well. I know Southampton haven't been the best at the moment, but I think that Ward-Prowse is a pretty consistent player, and I mean, at that price point, not too much risk there. Optimus Prime saying, my triple Game Week 35 team is locked, -16 and bench boost active. Salah, my captain, overall rank 66k. Good luck, Optimus Prime. I mean, -16, but I can understand it because you are bench boosting, so that kind of takes that risk down a little bit. And also Salah captain. I mean, I think that Salah could be a great shot this week to go for. White starred Lowton over Cody. It's just that Wolves defense. I mean, I think that I rather trust Brighton to score than Fulham to score. And that's what it kind of comes down to. And I mean, that Wolves defense has been absolutely shocking recently. So that's why I kind of am comfortable not going for him. The Asian Gamer saying, should I keep my Wolves assets or take a 8-point hit to bring in Luke Shaw, Rashford, and Jota? So you probably have Wolves attackers in that case if you're asking me if you're going to be bringing in those midfielders. As long as your team is fine in game week 36 with the blank, I think those moves are perfectly fine. Yash saying you might have to spam also. Sorry guys. Just keep on posting your questions as long as your slow chat allows, and I'll try and get to them. Torik saying, how's it, Davey? Thoughts on trading Pulisic and taking Zaha? I think that should be fine just because of that Chelsea rotation is a little bit up in the air, and I think that there's not much in terms of consistency in that starting lineup. Would you do Son and Lingard out for Bruno and Greenwood? I would be comfortable with doing that move. I mean, you can see here that I'm currently benching Lingard, so I don't really have much faith in him getting too many returns this week. Famous last words there, but I think that move could be perfectly fine. And that's what I kind of am suggesting. As long as your team is fine for blank game week 36, you guys should be fine. Just go to fpl.team and then type in your ID and then just load up the team for blank game week 36 and just check how you currently set out for. If you have a starting 11, if you can get to a starting 11 with maybe a -4 hit, I reckon that you guys should be fine for that. And then you can take as many hits as you want this week. Just make sure that you're not taking out players that play next week and then you kind of forget about them. Start Son or Jota, that is a tough spot to be in. Like in an ideal world, you have to play both of those, Yash. Like, I'm sorry, it's just so tough to choose between them. But I think that you probably have to just lean towards the double game week play and just go for Jota. So I see Hashir also asked that question. So you two both got your answers there. So thanks for asking it. Owen saying, what's your next move? Who's your captain? So it's either going to be Kane, Son out for DCL, Bruno Fernandes, or I'm just going to do Son to Rashford. I don't know, like, it's a really tough spot to be in, and I'm pretty sure you guys can understand because, I mean, Bruno is going to be captained by so many players, so this is a mega risky move to do, and if it pays off, it's good, but if it doesn't, the red arrow is going to be quite substantial. When you're making changes, I'll probably make them about 10 minutes probably before the deadline. I don't want to leave you guys too long hanging, but unfortunately, I haven't really decided on the moves. I mean, you guys could help me. You could suggest what to go for, yeah? Matteo saying Bruno, so that's probably the more conservative option to go for. Alexander saying, any info about Michael Keane playing? So Alexander, as far as I know, he just wasn't playing last week because he just came back from injury. So I'm pretty sure that he should start for Everton this week. I think that probably what you're going to say is that I think Holgate will be rotated there. Adam Big saying, Boca, Smith Rowe out for Zaha, worth an extra hit. If you have to play Smith Rowe, I would probably say that that's fine. But if you currently have a player with a decent fixture, then Adam, rather don't take hits. But as I said, if you have to play Smith Rowe, then I think that that's worth it. Go for Bruno captain plus Maguire. That could be a move that I do go for. I think that should be pretty fine to bring on a defender. But if you look at those fixtures for United, I don't know how confident I am in them keeping a clean sheet there. Start Wood or Lingard. Alexander, I probably would go for Chris Wood on that case. Cuman saying, just logged on, are you making changes? So I will definitely be making a change this week. It's either going to be Kane, Son out for Bruno and DCL, or I'm just going to do Son to Rashford. David saying Maguire isn't going to start all games as per Ollie. So the thing that Ollie said was that he didn't say that he's not going to start. He just said that he won't play every single minute. So he could do something where he takes him off 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and then that also means that he doesn't play every single minute. So Ollie didn't say that he's not going to start. And if you are going to go for a defender, I'm pretty sure Maguire is the most assured starter out of that defense. I also have another donation here saying, hi Dayvy, Zaha/Robbo or Vardy/Castagne on a free hit. Good luck. I would probably lean towards Vardy and Castagne, to be honest. That's what I would do. I mean, it's really close between those two. It's super hard to predict, but my current gut instinct is saying Vardy and Castagne. Nenad saying, I've decided to not getting United defenses game week. So Son to Greenwood or Rashford, thanks. I think you have to go for Rashford in that case. If it's between Greenwood and Rashford, I think that if you can afford Rashford, go for him. But if you can't, I mean, Greenwood's still a great option at that price. DCL or Cavani. Christian, I would just go for DCL. Assured to start both of the double game week fixtures, and then he has a nice fixture in blank game week 36. David is a good option for next game week to bring KDB in. So Optimus Prime, that's something that I like. I don't want to touch on this because it is kind of a foresight, but the reason why I'm kind of also leaning towards maybe not getting Bruno is that I could then open the door for maybe taking a punt without too many hits on going for someone like a Mahrez or something. So that's my current thinking behind it. So I think that could be quite a good option to go for. Davey, go for Bruno and DCL trade. So that is the more conservative move. So look, if I'm you guys, I would go for that move. 100%, I'm not going to suggest you guys to not go without Bruno Fernandes. So that's what I would kind of recommend. If you're going to ask me for a recommendation, I would say go for Bruno because if it doesn't pay off, that's going to be very bad. Baha saying, is Phillips a starter? So Phillips is going to be starting. If you guys did pay attention to the United lineup last weekend, basically Phillips was in that lineup, so that means that he's back from injury. Klopp today said that the week has done quite a good job for Nat Phillips and that he's ready to go. He's back from that injury. So if you guys do have Phillips, you can basically be assured that he's definitely going to be starting. Joe Feynman saying, Man U transfers are short-sighted. Watkins plus Ghazi for me. Thanks, Joe, for the donation there. I mean, not too much of a question there, so just stating your point, but I agree with you to an extent. Like, I don't want to kind of disregard United options and transfers, but I do think that if you kind of look at the triple, the fixtures aren't amazing, and they do blank in game week 36, but they are the safest options to go for. Forster or Leno, whom to play? So I think both of these players, if I'm honest, probably play one game week or one fixture this game week. But I think that you might hope that maybe Forster plays both. So I would probably go for Forster in that case. Can I bring Pogba instead of Bruno? So if you can afford Bruno, go for him. But if you can't, then Pogba could be a good selection. But he's one of those where he hasn't really had the best of seasons, but he could always have the potential to do well. Q-Man says, are you bringing Bruno in? I honestly haven't decided yet whether I'm going to bring him in or not. But I will probably I have to in the next 5 minutes. So that's something that I'll say to you guys. In the next 5 minutes, I definitely will make my transfer. Would you go for captain out of Salah and Nacho? So if you own Vardy, then I think go for Salah, because then you really kind of double up on that attack. But if you don't own Vardy, it opens it up a bit. I'd probably say out of those two, Salah's the safer option, but yeah, Nacho is definitely more differential. So that's what I kind of I'd probably say. 12 minutes left to go. That is true. So please, guys, get your team selections in. If you're kind of contemplating the moves, I would go for the Bruno move and just kind of hope that it kind of pays off. And I think that it will. I mean, it's a really safe move. If he bangs, the risk isn't going to be, or the rank gain isn't going to be too much, but the risk is going to be quite low. I can't afford Maguire. Who should I get in between Shaw and Lindelof? Go for Shaw. 100% go for Shaw rather than Lindelof. I think Lindelof probably will start 2 of the games, but I think that's Shaw. It's just that attacking threat that I think you might have to rely on. Zaha versus Jota. In this kind of game week, I would go for Zaha because I think that Jota will be benched one of these games. What would be your bench boost draft? It's a little bit tough to say. I would kind of try and balance it as much as possible. I would definitely have someone like a Ward in that defense because he's quite cheap. A player like a Phillips because those players are going to start and they're very cheap. But as long as your bench is good, I mean, the bench boost should be fine. And we're at that stage of the season where it's so late on that just kind of using the bench boost is going to be differential enough. Murray saying Digne or Diaz. I would go for Digne because he's just guaranteed to start, has good fixtures, so that should be fine. Why Holding not first on your bench? Because I think that even if Holding starts, Lingard has the high ceiling. Greenwood captain, gang. So that is something that's quite interesting that I'm sure you guys... Like, Greenwood is kind of a good captain to go for because I'm pretty sure that he'll start 2 games and on the third one probably will come off the bench. So the kind of expectation, they should be quite good. I currently have him as my captain actually, but I might not go for it in the end. Maybe go for like a Salah, or if I do bring a Rashford, Bruno, probably go for them. Robert saying, can you make the transfers while the time you're going to be doing 5 minutes left? So the thing, Robert, is I honestly don't know what I'm going to be doing. So, like, I wish that I came here and I knew what transfers I'd be doing and I'd do them at the start of the video. But honestly, I still haven't decided. Sorry, updated question. Son and Lingard to Greenwood and Rashford means down to 7 players next week. So if you find with that, if you find with taking a couple hits next game week, then, I mean, those moves should look quite good. Harjot Singh saying Jota plus James Ward-Prowse -4. Or Son plus Keane. Jota and James Ward-Prowse for a -4. I'd do that. What about Son and Vardy out for Bruno and Calvert-Lewin? Nacho feels like good enough cover for Leicester City. So, Manasha, if you think that that's fine, that is 100%. Go for that. But how I kind of am thinking of it is that I really do want Vardy. And I mean, we'll find out tonight in their fixture if that was worth it. Do you think Jota will play both games? Yash, I don't think he'll play both games. I think that he'll play one, but then Jota off the bench is also quite good. Slamming say, I've got you back the transfer and Son to Rashford. Captain Salah, Golden Boot. Bring Son back in next week for the blank. So, Slamming, that's currently my thinking. And that's kind of, I would say 60-40% what I'm going to be doing. Because I kind of think that I don't really want to go for Bruno and then negate blank game week 36. I mean, that could be a terrible decision in the end. But I want to kind of go a little bit more differential. As I said, currently 40k, want to get that top 10k. If I don't get top 100k, I mean, doesn't really matter at the end of the day if it's not the top 10k. Kevin Mann saying Bruno is a must, surely. So Kevin, 100% he is a must. And that's why I'm suggesting to you guys, get Bruno if you can. Because that's currently the thinking that I would do. So with 10 minutes to go, 9 minutes actually on the clock, we can decide on what transfer to go for. And honestly, like, it's super hard to decide what to do. But I think that I'm going to be going for a little bit of a punt here. I'm going to be just going for like a Rashford instead of going for a Bruno Fernandes. Kind of covering Bruno a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's a massive risk, and that's why I probably would not do it if I was kind of you guys. I would definitely just go for the Bruno Fernandes move, and then just keep whatever you guys want to. It's Castagna, good buy, 100%. Should do quite well. I'm second, so need differential, like 60 points behind, says Liam Taylor. So 60 points is more than I am off the top 10k, Liam. So you're gonna have to do some massive things to go for to catch up on that case. Dayvy, go for Bruno and DCL for Vardy and Son. So the thing is, I want Vardy. I want to keep Vardy this week. I think that he could be quite a nice little differential in that top 10k. Pogba might be playing on the left and Rashford on the right. He's poor on the right, says Jazz. So that could be the case, but I mean, it's almost trying to cover Bruno Fernandes a little bit, and I have to make a transfer anyway. And I don't really want to go for that United defense too much because I don't think the fixture's that great. So Son to Rashford will be the move. I know you guys have been asking for this desperately, so we will be confirming it and going for Son instead of Rashford. And you guys can kind of see that I was probably going to do Son out anyway for a United because, as you guys love to do, I've got the symmetry here. So I've gone for symmetry on the side of the midfield. If you had the bench boost, would you play it this week? So I got a couple of questions on the team selection about the bench boost. And the simple fact of it, guys, is that if you see your bench has good fixtures, just play the bench boost. I mean, there's a couple of game weeks to go now. You don't know what's going to happen in the future, whether there's going to be injuries or what. So I think that I still would go for the bench boost as of now. Marcus saying, Dave, I don't have Bruno. Would you triple captain anyone else this week? That is a. I think you have to use the triple captain this week on whoever you go for. I don't think there's too much risk with Salah. I think that he's a safe option. I think that Iheanacho could be good, and then also any of the United attackers. I mean, Greenwood and Rashford. If you have either of those, they could be quite good. But I definitely would use it. Barry O'Donnell saying, gonna bring in Greenwood this week and taking him and Vardy out for Salah and Bamford next week. So that could be 100% what you do, Barry. At least you have a plan, and that's what I kind of think that look quite good. Why no Bruno? I have to take a risk here. I'm going for that top 10k. I suggest that you guys go for Bruno, and that would be my suggestion to you. And now we've gone to captaincy, and the captaincy is a little bit up in the air at the moment. I honestly think that I probably would go for Salah as my captain. I don't know. I just think that Salah could be quite good. That's just my current thinking. So I know that I've brought in Greenwood and Rashford here and kind of hope that they do well and kind of cover Bruno. But I think that in terms of captaincy, I might just go for Salah instead of going for a Greenwood. G-Ball, go check my question, please. So let me just check. Did you write it in chat? Okay. Sufal, Jota, Phillips, Lingard, Holding. Which three to bench? Bench Lingard, bench Holding, and bench Sufal. That's what I would do. And then also I saw we had Erwin here saying, captain who, Rashford or Greenwood? Out of those two, I would go for... I probably think Rashford's a safer option, and that's who I would probably go for because of that Aston Villa game. He's basically guaranteed to play that game, whereas maybe like a Greenwood might get rotated. We never know. And I think that 100%, that's probably what I'd do. 5 minutes till deadline, says Jason. So thanks for that reminder there. Rashford and Benteke or Greenwood and Richarlison. I think that you should go for Greenwood and Richarlison. Abdullah, that's what I would probably do. Nick, captain Rashford. If you don't have Bruno, I think that Rashford or Greenwood are 100% fine. I would prefer Rashford over Greenwood because of the reasons that I kind of said. Football Holic saying, help fast. Should I play bench? I have 30 fixtures if I play the bench boost. So yeah, go for that. As I said, kind of the bench boost this week, as long as your bench has good fixtures, there's no kind of reason not to bench boost. I kind of just want to screenshot the team quickly before the team's going to be going. Bruno or Mo from your gut? Bruno. Like, I can't not suggest to you guys Bruno Fernandes. Like, I would be an irresponsible FPL content creator if I told you guys not to get Bruno Fernandes in a week when he had a triple. So this is one of the weeks, guys, where I'm kind of suggesting you not to go with me. And it hurts me to say that, guys, because I always want you guys to follow me. But in terms of just the situation that I'm currently in, I think that I have to go for that. Holding or Cody, R&R, I would just go for holding in that case. What are the chances for Bruno and Greenwood starting in 3 matches? I think that Greenwood maybe like 60%, but Bruno probably about 70 to 80%. Devin Little saying Forster or Leno. I would go for Forster. I just don't know if Leno's going to be starting both the games. Maguire or Shaw. I personally favor Maguire because I think he has the best chance of going for some clean sheets and starting all 3 fixtures. And then Shaw has that attacking threat, but I mean, he might not start both. Liam saying typical Liverpool fan going with Salah. So I think that just because I'm a Liverpool fan probably would make me not captain Salah even more because we've been absolutely dreadful. And that's what we kind of I think that he might do well. Harry Wiley saying currently first one mini league for £200. Took Vardy and Lingard out for Bruno plus Benteke, and I'm not regretting it. So Harry, that's the best FPL moves. If you're not regretting them after you do them, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I mean, if you cash in a cool £200 there, you're not going to be complaining. Should I play one of Holding or Semedo ahead of one of Lingard or Kane or Son? I don't think so. I would start Kane and Son, and then I'd probably prefer Lingard over Semedo or Holding. Any info about Michael? So Alexander, I currently think that he's going to be playing, so you guys can be comfortable with that. Should I bench boost if I have Areola, Mitchell, Dallas, and Berkey? Asian Gamer, I wouldn't bench boost that, unfortunately. Strongs for the game week. Tyler, thanks to you too, buddy. Tanashi saying start Rudiger or Lingard. I think I would go with Rudiger just because he might have the potential to start both of those. Cabanera saying, my man, Vardy to DCL and Holding to United defender. I personally want to hold Vardy. If you have Kane, I probably would take Kane out before Vardy. And Holding to United defender, that's perfectly fine because Holding blanks next game week, Cabanero. Play Mitchell or Lingard. Kieran, I think that if you have those 2 players, you might as well probably just start Mitchell, but be prepared for him to be benched. Nasri, how's it, Dayvy? How's it? Hopefully not joining at the end of the stream because just get your team finalized then. Please, Dayvy, will you do Martinez to Guaita for a -4? I wouldn't do that. That's too sideways for me. Lindelof and Keane or Digne and Phillips. I would go for Digne and Phillips. Holding or Cody. Holding. Diaz or Cancelo. I probably would say Diaz in that case just because he's more assured. But I think that Cancelo has the highest ceiling. Good luck. Thanks, Tariq. Good luck to you too, buddy. Hopefully it's a good game week. Hate this game week already. Says Devin Little. Apologies for that one, buddy. Before you guys drop off, should I get Chinese or sushi tonight? That'll be kind of the last thing I needed sorted out. Is say if you think I should get Chinese or sushi. That's currently what's on my mind after doing these transfers. James Pearson for £2 saying, is Greenwood a good captain option? James, 100%. If you don't own Bruno Fernandes and you want a United option, Greenwood's stats are excellent, and that's what I would currently go for. Cheers, SH3. Thanks for joining. So a lot of people are saying Chinese. A couple of people saying sushi though, so we might go for sushi. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. The hard choices there. Start Kane or Watkins. I think Alexander, you have to go for the double game week player in that case. And just go for Watkins. Son to Salah. I would do that move. I would do Son to Salah just because it's kind of a future proof. Karen saying, good luck, Dayvy. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for dropping by in the live stream. Good luck to you too on the week. And thanks for the continued support. Bosnian food. It's going to be quite hard to find. Yes, triple game week 35. Let's go. 150 points. It's going to be tough to get 150 points, but maybe if Salah gets a hat-trick in both of those games, that should be quite good. But unfortunately, guys, the deadline has just come about. Apologies for kind of the little bit of rush moves at the end, but honestly, I can say this. I didn't know what move I was going to be doing, so I do appreciate your guys' patience as always. And as I said, I think Bruno's definitely the safe option to go for, and if you guys did go for him, I hopefully don't think that you guys are going to be regretting it, and hopefully I don't regret it, but as I said, I can always just kind of pick up that excuse of I was kind of trying to be too differential in the end of it, but thanks for joining on this Friday evening. It's going to be quite a mega game week. I think this game week ends on Thursday, so hopefully you guys stay glued to your televisions or your computer monitors and watch the games. And as I said, just appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me, and I'm going to be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.